Hello everyone, this is Billy.
Hi everyone, this is Stephen.
And welcome to our fourth instructional video about how to approach an IELTS speaking test.
We're going to be looking at the fourth thing you should avoid doing while preparing for your speaking test.
Okay, so the fourth one is this one. So the fourth one is answering the wrong question. That's obviously the thing to avoid, right?
Yeah, you're judged on comprehension, and comprehension means did you understand the question?
Right.
There are many similar topics in IELTS, but they always have slightly different questions, and they have different expectations of what you're going to say. So if you have one answer for 50 questions, you're going to answer it wrong at least 49 times.
All right. So before moving on to more explanation, let's take a look at the wrong answer first.
Okay, so Billy, can you tell me what effect has technology had on the food we eat?
So my favorite piece of technology is a smartphone because I can do everything with it and I don't even need a credit card to pay for something. It is very light and so I carry it all the time and that is my favorite one.
And food?
Food? Sorry? So in the wrong example, I think the student talked all right, but what was wrong?
Well, the student managed to talk at length, and many people think, well, that's enough because I'm talking.
Right.
However, the one thing he didn't do was answer the question. The question was about technology and its effect on food, but he just talked about technology. He just talked about what I like, the best piece of technology I have. So the examiner would have to mark him down for saying he didn't understand the question.
Because like communication is the most important thing about taking the test. And that student didn't really listen to the question, right?
Yeah, I think the student, and this is very common, just listened for what a key word was.
Right.
But the key word here wasn't technology, it was technology and food.
Right.
And so, for example, the student maybe misunderstood the question, and then it would have been better to say, do you mean what food I order or how I use technology before beginning to answer the question?
Right. So is it okay to ask the question again? There's no penalty?
In part 3, which is what we're talking about, it's perfectly fine to ask for clarification. You can ask them to repeat the question. You can say, do you mean, for example, on my phone? Or you can ask, the only thing you can't ask is, can you re-explain the question? Because then you're asking for examples. But it's fine to say, do you mean, I think you mean this, and it's, you know, to get clarification, but that's fine.
Okay, I think some students are really afraid of getting the penalty, so they just don't really ask their question again, and they just move on to the answer, just answering the question with what they've heard, but they just end up with saying the wrong answer, right?
Yeah, so they were asked a question and they didn't answer it. So that's got to be a penalty, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, like, students try to like memorize everything and try to be really perfect. So just right after they hear their first like keyword, they just stop listening to the examiner and just try to think of answer, perfect answer, right?
Exactly.
So that's how that happens.
Exactly.
Right. Then what would be the best way to like prepare for the answering the correct answers then?
Well, the thing is, because you don't know what questions are going to be asked, it's absolutely impossible to know. It's absolutely fine to practice common topics. So think, for example, technology is a common topic. So maybe I would try to find as many different types of questions that are to do with technology and then answer them. But more importantly, I would work more on listening. So listening to online lectures or listening to past examiners and kind of think, if I got that question, how would I answer it?
Right.
Rather than, here is a question in a book, I just read it. Because in part 3, you cannot read the questions. So you have to work on your comprehension more.
Right. So like listening practice is also really important.
It's just as important as speaking.
Yeah, for communication, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and the thing is, there won't be always one question about only one topic. So for example, this one is about technology and food, 2 topics, right? So I think we should keep that in mind as well.
Exactly.
So keep that in mind to listen to the question till the end.
Remember, you're judged on comprehension, which means understanding the questions.
Okay, so based on the explanation, let's take a look at the good example.
Okay, Billy, so can you tell me what effect has technology had on the food we eat?
Well, I think nowadays more and more people use their smartphones to order their takeaway food. So my favorite application with my mobile phone is called Bud Rider, and I can choose which restaurant I want and I can order which food I want. So I pay for them and a courier goes to that restaurant and deliver that food to my house. So I can get almost everything and anything I want. So I usually use that. So rather than just going to traditional restaurants like Chinese and pizza restaurants, I can get almost anything I want. So I really like that application.
Oh.
That's the effect.
So what do you normally order from Bird Writers?
Well, usually Thai food.
Oh, fantastic.
So we've been talking about the 4th thing to avoid while having an IELTS speaking test.
We'll be back soon to help you prepare for the next tip for how to prepare for the speaking test.
Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye!
Bye-bye.